Okay everyone, just finished my comparison of these three receivers from the first video: Marantz 2325, Nakamichi TA4A, and Yamaha RX-Z9. The Marantz wins it. It's not way better, but it's definitely better. The Marantz has just got extended frequency, transparency. It's just a really good receiver, and it's got really nice bass. The Nakamichi did beat the Marantz in one area though, as far as maybe mid-range instruments, instruments in general, stringed and pianos. It seems to have a more three-dimensional sound, really nice sound on those instruments. So if your main likes are pianos and instrumentals, things like that, then I would recommend the Nakamichi over either two. But the Nakamichi just didn't have the upper end transparency, openness that the Marantz had. But the Yamaha, it maybe had a little more transparency than the Nakamichi, but it didn't have the inner detail on the piano and mid-range vocals and things like that. So it does have really good bass. It just has a huge transformer. Like I say, the Yamaha is a multi-channel home theater receiver. It's not really meant to be compared to two-channel, but it's just so good in two-channel. That's why I did compare them. But it's probably a tie between the Nakamichi and Yamaha overall. One does one thing better and the other does another. So they're all three fantastic receivers. As mentioned, the Yamaha is home theater receiver. It's probably the best multi what do you call it, name brand, not counting esoteric brands. It's probably the best sounding multi-channel as far as the analog inputs of any home theater receiver. That's probably tied with the Denon 5805. I've heard both of them. I actually had a 5805 at one time, and I don't really prefer one over the other, a Z9 over a 5805. But they would make great multi-channel amps. The Yamaha's actually got 3-channel direct amp input, so it's not really multi-channel, but you can do some things with it to make it a multi-channel, which I may cover in the other videos. I will review probably the Nakamichi and the Yamaha later on individually. The Marantz is actually a customer of mine. I should have mentioned the Marantz does have an added advantage over the other two, because I've been through and I've recapped it, aligned it and everything, and the other two have not had that done to them. So that's not saying that the Marantz wouldn't have beat them. I'm sure it would have. Like I say, the Marantz it's just massively built. I'm not sure if you can see it, but huge caps, massive power transformer. It's just really overbuilt. It's much better built than the Nakamichi. I won't say it's much better than the Yamaha, because the Yamaha, well, it's meant for home theater, but the Yamaha has like a 1,000-watt transformer. The Yamaha is really just a huge, massive. It can really put out 170 watts times 7 channels. It just don't have quite the transparency of the Marantz. But they're all really good, and the Marantz is a customer of mine, so it won't be here when I review the others individually. But the only basically 2-channel vintage receiver I believe I've ever heard that would match this is I used to have a Sansui 9090. This one and that one would have really been a good matchup, and I've heard on forums that a lot of people do square off with them, and some prefer one, some prefer the other, but that's the only one I've heard that I'm sure would give this a good run for its money. It might even have beat this one, who knows, probably depending on the music you play through it. But basically that's it, folks, and I appreciate everybody watching, and watch some more videos. I haven't did many recently. I just been real busy doing stuff like restoring these things. But thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Alright, thanks a bunch.